Vitamin C for immunity. You pop the pill, hoping your defenses will rise like an army at dawn. It is an overhyped supplement, marketed as a fortress against cold and flu. You read the promises: boosted immunity, illness prevention, miracle resilience. Yet studies whisper another story: modest effect, limited to extreme deficiency, nothing close to the advertised panacea. You notice the contradiction between your expectations and the subtle biology within your body. The truth is a slow reality, buried under glossy labels and the echo of marketing. You realize that hope itself has been commodified, a nutrient sold in capsules. Collagen for skin and joints. You sip the powder, imagining wrinkles erased and knees renewed. This overhyped supplement promises youth bottled, elasticity restored, beauty distilled. Yet your body digests it like any other protein, breaking it down into amino acids. The direct magic, the dramatic miracle, is absent. You feel the lure of transformation, the desire to buy time captured in a jar. Science whispers, supplementation may help marginally, but marketing screams miracles. You recognize the dissonance between desire and biology, and the human need to believe in shortcuts. Turmeric for inflammation. You sprinkle gold into smoothies, envisioning an inner fire doused, chronic pain quelled. It is an overhyped supplement, hailed as the anti-inflammatory savior of the century. Yet clinical trials show benefits only under specific dosages, often impossible to reach with a teaspoon. The body's absorption resists the myth, biochemistry undermining narrative. You taste the spice, the hope, the subtle tension between culture and evidence. You wonder how a simple root became a symbol of mastery over suffering. Fish oil for heart health. You swallow the capsules, imagining arteries gleaming, cholesterol tamed. It is an overhyped supplement promised to rescue your heart, to lengthen life. Meta-analyses murmur skepticism. Benefits exist but are limited, often replaceable by diet. You feel the pull of the narrative. Omega-3s as salvation, pills as insurance. You notice the marketing machine, distilling hope into soft gel and label. The promise is seductive, the reality more mundane. You ponder the delicate dance between wishful thinking and actual physiology. Magnesium for sleep. You cradle the powder, expecting restful nights and effortless slumber. This overhyped supplement is marketed as a panacea for insomnia. Yet studies suggest it helps only the deficient. Most experience placebo more than effect. You lie in bed, counting the minutes, listening to your body's stubborn wakefulness. Science whispers, marketing shouts. You realize desire often outpaces evidence, and that a supplement cannot will sleep into existence. Multivitamins for longevity. You reach for the rainbow capsules, imagining a shield against aging. This overhyped supplement promises a hedge against decay, a microscopic armor. Yet large studies reveal negligible effects on lifespan for the average person. You notice the irony. Nutrients already abundant in a balanced diet are sold back to you as elixirs. The body's complexity resists simplification. Capsules cannot capture the orchestration of nutrients in nature. You feel the allure of control, the temptation of a small, tangible act to cheat mortality. Probiotics for gut health. You swallow the tiny army, imagining your microbiome realigned and flourishing. It is an overhyped supplement, promising digestion perfected and immunity enhanced. Yet strains are often transient, surviving briefly in the gut before exiting unchanged. You notice the discrepancy. Your body is a complex ecosystem, far more sophisticated than any capsule. Hope is baked into the marketing, the biology, unyielding and quiet. You feel the tension between expectation and physiological reality. Vitamin D for energy and mood. You bask in artificial sunlight and supplement the deficit, envisioning vibrant energy and unclouded mind. This overhyped supplement promises to banish fatigue, lift spirits, and bolster vitality. Yet benefits are confined to those truly deficient. For others, gains are minimal. You notice the allure of simplicity. One pill, one daily ritual, a talisman against malaise. Science offers nuance, but the market demands narrative. You sense the subtle difference between physiological necessity and aspirational promise. Green tea extract for fat loss. You sip or swallow, imagining calories melting and metabolism surging. It is an overhyped supplement, marketed as the shortcut to a sculpted body. Yet trials show modest effects at best, far from the dramatic claims on labels. You notice the intersection of hope, willpower, and biology. Fat loss is systemic, not magical. You taste the bitterness of expectation, sweetened by marketing's illusion. The truth whispers slowly. The promise shouts loudly. Caffeine pills for cognitive enhancement. You swallow the small tablet, expecting laser focus, clarity, and genius unlocked. This overhyped supplement delivers alertness, but not the cognitive leap you imagined. Dependence creeps silently, tolerance builds, and crashes follow. You realize enhancement has limits. Neurochemistry cannot be bypassed with capsules alone. Yet the allure persists. Instant clarity, the illusion of control over thought. You feel the tension between biology and desire, chemistry and expectation. Pre-workout formulas. You gulp the powder, imagining boundless energy, strength multiplied. It is an overhyped supplement, promising performance beyond natural limits. Yet much of the effect is placebo, caffeine-driven, or reliant on careful timing of nutrition. You notice the ritual, the theatrical preparation, the narrative of self-transformation. Science whispers restraint, marketing shouts exhilaration. You feel the temporary thrill, aware of the gap between sensation and reality. Glucosamine for joints. You swallow the tablets, imagining cartilage renewed, pain erased. This overhyped supplement promises mobility restored, movement without friction. Yet studies are mixed. Benefits exist for some, but not the dramatic reversal suggested in ads. You notice the hope invested, the fantasy of aging conquered in a bottle. The narrative sells youth in chewable form, glossing over slow biological reality. You feel the quiet disappointment between expectation and effect. Protein powders for muscle growth. You shake the powder, imagining mass gained, definition sculpted. It is an overhyped supplement, promising hypertrophy with minimal effort. Yet protein is abundant in normal diets. The powder is convenience, not magic. You notice the marketing narrative, transformation without sacrifice, a shortcut to aesthetic. Biology demands training, consistency, and caloric balance. Pills cannot replace work. You feel the seductive allure of an easy solution and the quiet truth of effort required. Apple cider vinegar for weight loss. You drizzle it over salad, imagining fat dissolving like morning mist. This overhyped supplement promises metabolism unlocked, cravings vanished, transformation distilled into liquid. Yet clinical evidence is modest at best. Weight loss is minimal and inconsistent. You notice the cultural narrative, folklore packaged as science, ritualized as daily habit. Desire overrides skepticism, hope masquerades as method. You feel the tension between tradition and measurable effect, between longing and biology. Spirulina for energy and detox. You scoop the green powder, expecting vitality and purity flowing through your veins. It is an overhyped supplement, sold as nature's miracle for stamina and cleansing. Yet studies suggest benefits are minor, and detox is largely marketing speak. Your liver and kidneys handle the real cleansing. You sense the allure of simplicity. Consume, transform, transcend. Science whispers moderation. Marketing shouts metamorphosis. You realize the habit of hope can be stronger than the substance itself. CBD oil for anxiety and sleep. You drop the oil under your tongue, envisioning calm spreading like water across still fields. This overhyped supplement is marketed as a miracle for stress, sleep, and mood. Yet evidence is limited, often conflicting, and dosage unstandardized. You notice the narrative, nature's panacea distilled into a bottle. Placebo may be stronger than compound, perception more potent than pharmacology. You feel the seductive comfort of certainty, even where science hesitates. Resveratrol for longevity. You swallow the extract, imagining DNA shielded, cells aging in slow motion. It is an overhyped supplement, promising eternal youth distilled from grapes. Yet human trials remain inconclusive. Benefits seen in animals do not translate neatly. You feel the weight of expectation, anti-aging captured in a pill, a shortcut to mortality's defiance. Biology resists simplification. Hope persists regardless. You realize longing often fuels consumption more than evidence. BCAAS for muscle preservation. You sip the powder mid-workout, envisioning protein sparing and growth amplified. This overhyped supplement claims to be essential for muscle retention and performance. Yet research shows benefits are negligible for those already consuming adequate protein. You notice the ritualistic allure, the sense of control over muscle and metabolism. Marketing transforms minimal effect into a perceived necessity. You feel the seductive gap between action and outcome, effort and illusion. MCT oil for weight loss and brain power. You drizzle it into coffee, imagining ketones sparking clarity, fat melting away. It is an overhyped supplement promising cognitive enhancement and metabolic miracles. Yet the effect is small, context-dependent, and not the shortcut claimed. You sense the narrative, liquid magic, energy distilled into fat droplets. Science whispers subtlety, marketing screams transformation. You feel the tension between hope and reality, perception and mechanism. Coenzyme Q10 for energy and heart health. You swallow the capsule, imagining cellular engines roaring, mitochondria optimized. This overhyped supplement promises endurance, longevity, and cardiac rescue. Yet trials show modest effects, largely limited to deficiencies. You notice the marketing elegance, cellular mastery sold in soft gel. Biology remains quietly resistant to simplification. You feel the allure of control over unseen inner machinery, even if it is illusory. Herbal sleep aids, valerian, chamomile, etc. You sip the tea, envisioning night wrapped in gentle oblivion. These overhyped supplements promise slumber without struggle, rest without effort. Yet effectiveness varies widely, placebo often stronger than the herb itself. You notice ritual replacing mechanism. The act of preparation becomes part of the effect. Science whispers nuance. Expectation carries weight. You realize desire often transforms perception into temporary relief. Glutamine for recovery. You add the powder post-workout, imagining muscles rebuilding faster, soreness erased. It is an overhyped supplement, marketed as essential for recovery. Yet research shows minimal effect for those with normal protein intake. You feel the pull of narrative, accelerated progress distilled into a scoop. Biology insists on reality. Rest, nutrition, and training outweigh novelty. You sense the subtle trap of believing effort can be condensed into powder. Chondroitin for joint health. You swallow the tablets, envisioning smooth motion and painless knees. This overhyped supplement promises cartilage repair and mobility restoration. Yet studies show inconsistent results, with benefits modest at best. You notice hope packaged in numbers, advertised as science. Your body listens silently, unconvinced by marketing's fervor. You feel the gap between expectation and tangible improvement, between desire and biology. Carnitine for fat burning. You take the pill, imagining fat converted into energy, metabolism ignited. It is an overhyped supplement, marketed as a shortcut to lean muscle. Yet evidence in humans shows only minor effects, conditional on exercise and diet. You notice the lure of rapid results, the fantasy of metabolic mastery. Science whispers patience, discipline, and consistency. You sense the seduction of hope, even when biology resists shortcuts. Prebiotics for gut health. You consume fibers, imagining flora realigned, digestion perfect. This overhyped supplement promises harmonious microbiota and immunity boost. Yet effects are subtle, context-dependent, and rarely dramatic. You feel the appeal of control, the fantasy of perfect inner balance. Marketing packages complexity into simplicity. Reality whispers nuance. You realize gut health is systemic, cumulative, and resistant to instant solutions. Energy shots and nootropics. You drink the small bottle, imagining cognition elevated, focus enhanced. These overhyped supplements promise intelligence, attention, and productivity distilled into liquid form. Yet effects are often temporary, stimulants masked as innovation, benefits exaggerated. You feel the lure of immediate mastery, the temptation of chemical shortcut. Science whispers caution, marketing shouts optimization. You notice how desire can transform perception into action, even if reality lags.